Shut up and sit down.
The Doug and Joe Show. Our 2 cents.
That you didn't even ask for.
They didn't ask? Should we keep going? The show about nothing and everything all at once.
Doug, did you hear that?
What's that, Joe?
It sounds spooky in here.
It is that time.
Happy Halloween, buddy.
One of my favorite times of year.
I know. How many costumes have you had over the years? It's insane.
Come on, kids. People are going to start showing up for the costume party any minute. Hey, nice Snoopy costume, Brian. Thanks. Yeah, I guess it's not true what they say. You can punch Snoopy in the stomach as hard as you can and he won't feel it. That's Houdini. No, Brian. Now get up and do the dance. Oh, no, I'm not going to do the dance. Do the dance!
Can't even count how many.
You know, people get excited about Christmas. People get excited about Thanksgiving for the food. Christmas for the presents. Dougie's like, what can I dress up as? He gets super excited. This is when the bald hair, you'd be fooled because he acts like a kid, man. I'm telling you.
The bald hair?
What?
The bald hair?
What?
You know what?
Welcome to episode number whatever it is of the Halloween special of the Doug and Joe Show. I'm Joe.
And I'm Doug.
And this is our 2 cents.
That you didn't ask for.
Somebody wants to get a hold of us.
What is
but that's
that?
okay. They're going to have to wait because tonight we're going to take you on a journey. A very scary journey. I'm so scared, Doug. I can't do it. You tell them. I can't.
Well, we're going to run through our top 5 haunted places in mostly Ontario, but we're going to branch out on one of them, right?
Yeah, I'm going to cheat a little. Because it's pretty cool.
All right.
So let's get right into it. You start us off, Doug, because I'm still a little scared over here. The hairs on my neck a little bit off. I'm a little spooked. What was that? Okay, go ahead, Doug.
Early trick-or-treaters.
Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat.
So up in my neck of the woods, up in Port McNichol, there is a steamship that they rescued. The Keewatin steamship. Now it was made, it's made in the same class as the Titanic. It's a wooden steamship. It's all prestige and nice and everything like that. I think it was made around the same time as the Titanic. I'm not sure if just a little before or a little bit after.
Is there anyone there?
Yes, what you see.
Iceberg, right ahead!
Thank you.
And it was a steamship that sailed on the Great Lakes for quite some time. Except when there was a steamship, I guess, that had a big fire on it, and they lost a lot of tourists and stuff because these boats were all made out of wood and that sort of thing. The Keewatin was basically decommissioned and ended up in Kalamazoo or something. And a few years back, it was just sitting, getting ready to be scrapped. And the friends of the Keewatin brought it back to its home port in Port McNichol and set it up so they could do tours and everything. And there's actually quite the long history to it. People that have died on it. how there's sailors. When people are doing tours, they see ghost figures of sailors walking on it, or people sitting down eating dinner and stuff like that. It's quite the spooky place. I think they do have, yeah, during certain times of the year, Halloween and stuff. They'll probably do haunted walks, that sort of thing. But it's open year round to tour, anyways. And just the fact that it's an old steamship that's as old as the Titanic, made in the same naval yard as the Titanic and everything, has pretty cool history with it. Of course, along with such a long history comes the spirits and ghosts that come with it too. That's the Keewatin Steamship in Port McNicoll. You got to get up there and have a look at it one day.
Indeed.
Spooky place. Go at night.
Very spooky. Go at night. Well, that makes sense. Okay.
What do you got?
I'm going to take you on a little journey now. Listeners, lend me your ears. We're going to go to little Port Perry. A little road called Ghost Road. The legend of Ghost Road. On the best-known haunts of Ontario, in Scugog's Island Ghost Road, just outside the quaint little village of Port Perry. This has been the site of many interesting phenomena, as well as the birth of many legends. One version of the legend goes a little like this. Sometime in around the year of 1957, a young man was testing the limits of his motorcycle on an old concession road up on Scugog Island. He was on a straightaway and pushing the engine as fast as he could. The road is short, and he soon realized he was running out of room and was quickly approaching the intersection where the ninth concession meets. About 100 meters from the south end, near a large tree, he lost control and plowed.
He's so small. He kissed me goodbye. The tears were beginning to show. As he drove away on that rainy night, I begged him to go slow. Whether he heard, I'll never know.
Into a field. He caught himself on an old rusty barbed wire fence. He was decapitated.
Who?
Some say his head bounced off a rock.
Ow.
Yeah. Some also say that he simply banged his head on the rock and then is still located on the road and he met his end.
His head is still located on the road?
Not just the rock is
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go on.
It's the story that goes along with the reports of the large round white light heading down the road that when it passes you, then turns into a small red light. There are also occasional reports of the sounds of a motorcycle to accompany the light. This location was also home to a well-traveled native footpath. And you know how that goes, Doug. Some pretty spooky stuff.
You know what? I think we should start stories by Joe Todd the Voice.
Maybe.
You're in there.
But there was a bunch of experiences here. December 5th, 2004 was their first visit to Ghost Road. The sky was clear. Let me paint the picture for you, Doug. And the temp was approximately 2 degrees Celsius, because it sounds like they checked. When we arrived, one of our group members stood in front of the car, which was facing north, with his headlights pointed to the rock, and took a picture with Rachel with the infamous rock. When they drove up and down the road approximately 4 times, each time stopping along the way to take pictures, we saw the light, but it was going the wrong way. And there's a bunch more. But yeah, so check it out. It's spooky. Go at night.
Yeah,
Ghost
you know what,
Road,
dude?
Perry.
I think that's a road trip for us. We could do a live.
That is
We could
definitely
do a
road trip
live.
for us.
Yeah,
We could do some EVPs.
it's not that far away.
No, electronic voice phenomena. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Maybe catch some embodied spirits. Next one for you, Sal.
So again, up in my neck of the woods, Discovery Harbor.
Yep.
That's up in Penetang there. Yeah.
Ooh.
So Discovery Harbor, it traces its roots back to the British Naval. It's a military base in Penetanguishene. And it was built up there to safeguard access to Upper Canada um, after the War of 1812
Pew, 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 pew.
with the Americans. His Majesty's Naval Establishment on Lake Huron, it was called. And it kept the ships prepared and supplied for the British posts up and down the Great Lakes there. And by 1820, it was quite a bustling little community, sailors and officers and shipwrights and soldiers and that sort of thing. It had 5 large ships and 15 other smaller vessels would dock there at a time. Numerous workshops and dwellings were there built, to serve it. It was a British garrison just on Drummond Island, which was relocated to Penetanguishene back in 1834. Canada was pretty much defended exclusively by these forces up along Upper Canada there. Now, of course, with military guys and sailors and all that comes a lot of drinking and
What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning?
gambling
A
and
lot of
shenanigans
booze,
at night.
debauchery.
Yes, and of course murders and people disappearing, and soldiers that came back there that were injured and had died. So they have a lot of tours there, and there's a lot of reports of seeing old sailors walking around the shipyards, and there's actually in one of the officers' quarters that apparently the guy shows up all the time. And in another room, there's a lady in a red dress that's always sitting down to dinner that tourists and all that see quite often. They also do, your haunted tours around Halloween this time of year and all that kind of stuff.
Ooh.
But it's a very interesting
Alright.
place, yeah, and a great history of Canada back at that time. It's a place to check out. Discovery Harbor up
Indeed.
in Penetanguishene. It's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yes, sir.
Now I take you to the big city of Toronto. One of the city's most enduring landmarks, at one time, the tallest building in the Commonwealth. The Royal York's Opulence still survives, even though it has been dwarfed by other towers of the city of Toronto. Such as an old and entrenched landmark does have its one lonely reported ghost that can be found in the pages of John Robert Columbo's book, Mysteries of Ontario. According to the book, an apparition of a gray-haired man appears in a maroon smoking jacket and slacks, silently moving along the hallway of the 8th floor of the dormitory tower. Well, it sounds like, Doug, as long as we don't stay on the 8th floor, we're going to be okay. The following was submitted by one of his readers. There is also supposed to be a ghost of a former employee who hung himself from a stairwell railing above the 19th floor. As you know, the hotel has only 19 floors. I didn't know, but that's what this says. As you know, the hotel only has 19 floors, which was occupied, however, almost all the stairwells led to the upper roof, 20th to 23rd floors. These upper floors are occupied by mechanical rooms, which are all electronically locked and only entered when work must be done. The stairwell in question, I forgot the actual stairwell number, leads
19?
right to the roof. What?
19?
Possibly 19. I'm just reading what it says. Leads right to the roof, exiting to the big red Royal Oak sign, which can be seen from the streets. As I mentioned, the employee hung himself from an unknown reason in the higher area of the stairwell. Many of the maintenance staff at the hotel have stated that strange sounds such as screaming and loud footsteps can be heard above while climbing the stairwell. When the sounds are investigated, nothing and nobody can be found.
Well,
That's it. That's
yeah.
the York Hotel.
Well, yeah, the Royal York Hotel. I know it's been around there a long time. Me growing up in Scarborough and
Long
stuff, but I always have known it as being a really high class, swanky place. I've never attempted to
Indeed.
stay
That's why
there.
we've never been there, Douglas.
Although I've walked through it, but yeah, never
Yeah.
never got to stay there. That's for sure. But that would be
If I had to pee, I'd probably visit it, but that's about it.
spooky place indeed.
Ooh, your turn.
So hey, this is a personal experience.
Nothing bad ever happens to me.
So
Ooh, I like those.
so
Gives more credibility.
yep, I had to go up to this restaurant called In at the Falls in Bracebridge. So my job was to go in there and service the draft beer taps, clean them and
Yeah, you have a
fix them
pretty
up.
cool job.
So I went up to this place, and it's kind of on that backs onto that river there that they have, and it was really early morning. So usually when I'm in these places, there's nobody there, right? So I arrive, and really there's no staff there. There might be a cleaner there to let me in. That's that sort of thing. So in the morning, I was working. I was alone behind the bar. There's kind of two rooms. There's a room right in front of the bar, and then there's kind of like a patio, enclosed-in area right off to the left of it too, with tables and chairs and all that. So I'm in there and I'm doing my thing, working on the taps and doing everything, and I thought I heard something. I lift my head up and look around and don't see anybody around. Go back to work. None of the TVs are on, so I don't know what it was. Could have been anything. I don't know. Go back to work, and I hear hello. I lift my head up and I'm like, what's going on? And I don't see anybody, but I hear this small girl talking, and she's in the next room. And I'm like, hello, who's there? Do you need something? And the girl replies, hi, I'm Sarah. I'm like, what? I go around to have a look to see, and peek my head in the other room. Nobody there. There's nobody there. I'm like, hello, Sarah. I'm looking around. There's absolutely nobody around. No doors they could have went out of. Would have had to come across in front of me in the bar to go back up the stairs or to the lobby of the inn. I'm like, oh, that's strange. So I go back and I finish, working on the taps and putting them together. And as I'm doing this, I keep hearing her giggle, laughing, like she's laughing at me. Like maybe she was playing hide and seek with me. I don't know. So I quickly finished what I was doing, packed up my gear, and got out of there. And when I was leaving, and I asked the cleaner there, I said, "Is there you ever like your little girl here playing around over there?" And she goes, "Oh, you must have been talking to Sarah. She's the ghost that likes to play hide and seek in there." I'm like, "Oh, that's nice. Have a good day."
I'm out of here.
Gone.
So that's interesting. Funny side note, Doug has let me know in his toolbox now, he does keep a spare pair of underwear. Mm-hmm.
And salt.
Yeah.
And salt.
So that's that.
You know what salt's for, right? Joe?
Tomorrow?
Huh?
Yeah.
You know what salt's for, right?
Oh, salt? Yeah.
Salt.
What's the matter, Pop? I'm confused.
Is salt like you put on your steak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also helps keep evil spirits away.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Your next story.
I like multi-uses.
There we go.
Clean underwear. Always keep it with you, your mother said.
Moving on.
So we're moving on to Niagara Falls, Ontario. Now, this is just a terrible story, the backstory on this. But there's a tunnel called the Screaming Tunnel. Now, imagine, if you will, being a young girl running Terrified of the beast that is close behind you, you end up in this tunnel and hope that the darkness will hide you. Though you're staying as quiet as possible, the beast finds you. This beast happens to be your father, insanely mad over a lost custody battle.
No, Daddy, no!
He grabs his matches and sets you on fire. Your screams remain. For eternity. Well, that is the legend, Douglas, of the Screaming Tunnel, which is located in Burlington. Actually, I guess. I don't know how that works. It's actually an abandoned railway tunnel off of Warner Road, was constructed in the early 1900s, but never finished. So if you plan on visiting, bring some matches and light one in the tunnel. Legend has it, the young girl will let out a blood-curdling scream, which in turn extinguishes the match.
Well, you know what? Bring a flashlight then.
There you go.
And
But
clean
then she won't
underwear.
scream at you. And then she will, and clean underwear, and
Yeah.
definitely some clean underwear.
Jeez. I don't know. Well, maybe we'll pass that one up on our road trip.
Pass on the screaming girl. Yeah, I got enough of that from my son's girlfriend. So yeah, moving on.
Okay, well, back around Barrie area is Fort Willow.
Fort Willow.
Yeah, just off Grenfell Road, just north of Highway 90 there. And it's a partially reconstructed War of 1812 military supply depot. So the
Up by
military,
Kawartha there?
huh?
Up by Kawartha there?
No, just off of George Johnson Road and Highway 90, Grenfell Road.
Oh,
Yeah, it's right on the trail. There's a portage trail that goes from Lake Simcoe over to the Fort Willow, and then they'd find their way over to Nottawasaga River and head up to Georgian Bay and over to Discovery Harbor. It was all part of the path during 1812 that they would take when they were fighting against the Americans and that sort of thing. Was a supply route, and that was a supply depot, kind of a spot halfway through. So of course, here we go again with soldiers and drinking and all that kind of stuff. There's a story of a young soldier. He was said to have been flogged and hung for desertion, and he haunts there. The tragedy of his death ensured the soldier would not rest peacefully in his grave, and instead he walked silently beneath the partially reconstructed palisade and through the eerie woods.
Gonna haunt you till your dying day.
To this day. I can't tell the story like you, but I'm telling it anyways. So anyways, for those that want to see or feel his presence, just you go over there. If what he does is, you'll know he's in the area if you start feeling like a sadness or fear, or you doubt, you start seeing reflections of the ghost himself. They do a lot of tours there. It's free to go there all the time, but they do a little haunted thing too. I've been there with the kids. It was a great time, but this was before we knew it was so haunted itself. And it's outdoors. And again, it's another part of Canadian history during the War of 1812, and we got a lot of ghosts and that sort of thing from that time. So
it's a nasty time.
Yes, but it's a great place to go look at and check out, and see what it used to be like.
Indeed.
The ghost
All right,
of Fort
so I
Willow.
know I'm not going. So mine is going to take us out of Ontario, as we kind of alluded to in the beginning there. And I have to give a shout out to Tom McDonald, a rapper, a very good rapper, actually. I'm not a big rap fan, but this guy's really good.
When someone makes a death threat, you expect a war. And when that war never comes, you realize that those death threats were ghost stories.
He really speaks on the issues. He told me a story about his personal experience, not me personally, it was a YouTube video, but a personal experience him and his producer and his director had when they were filming an abandoned sanatorium in BC. And it was a shadow figure. Yes.
Oh, gotta love
Freaking
those.
shadow figure. But what's creepier is the backstory on this town. This town is built at the turn of the 20th century. The once abandoned, tranquil sanatorium looms at the edge of Kamloops border. According to the Kamloops Museum and Archives, the sanatorium was originally built in 1907 to treat patients of tuberculosis. At this time, there was no cure for tuberculosis, and continued to so until 1958. Following this, the sanatorium facilities were transferred to the Mental Health Services branch of the BC provincial government, and the site was used as an institution for the mentally disabled. Afterwards, the institution permanently closed in 1983. Now, when Tom visited this spooky town, it was like in the middle of nowhere, in the woods. You're on a hill and you can see down in it, and super creepy. And it had the sanatorium, and it had houses, and every house had a secret door in the basement. So if someone died, they could secretly bring it through underground tunnels to the sanatorium, so people didn't get freaked out when people were dying of tuberculosis.
That's creepy.
Yeah, it's about as creepy as it gets. So
that's near Kamloops, you said?
Just outside Kamloops, yeah.
Wow. Kamloops is like a desert, eh? So dry. They call it the desert.
It's the only desert we have, and
it's not really a desert, but they call it the desert.
No, but they call it the desert. Yes. So they had to go get this light. They forgot a $1,200 light when filming, and then when they ran out after they saw the shadow figure, the light was on in the sanatorium. And I forgot the scariest part. They met a little girl and a little boy that came out of one of the houses that warned them about the floors having holes. And when he did the research after, there was a little boy and a little girl that fell through the holes and died. Super creepy.
Okay, you know what? I've seen enough movies. You never go to a sanatorium, a deserted one.
No, that's the one place you don't go.
That's just a no-no. No.
Douglas, what do you have for us?
Well, Joe, another personal experience. This was the house I lived in Barrie.
In Barrie?
No, I'm not
before
big.
You moved to Dougville. Okay.
No, and I'm not big on ghosts and, the little girl Sarah, and that happened to me, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, there's got to be an explanation, even though I can't come up with one. But in my house in Barrie, over the 17 years or so that I lived there, things happened over time, and not only did I hear it, but my kids heard it, my wife heard it, that sort of thing. So what we'd hear is we'd be downstairs. It was a 2-story house. We'd be downstairs, and we would actually hear somebody walking across upstairs, walking across down the hallway, whatever. And we're like, what? We go up there, nothing's there, nobody's there. So, I mean, it happened so frequently that it was like, oh, he's walking around upstairs again. Oh, okay, back to watching TV. It's like no big deal, right? I remember one time it was only me and my one son home, Garrett, and he was getting ready to go out to ball hockey. And I was in the living room watching TV, and he put his water bottle on the kitchen table. And he went out the door, and he came back in. And actually, he went out the door, and I saw his truck leave. I was watching TV, and then about a couple minutes later, I heard something upstairs, and I said, "Is that you upstairs?" And I heard, "Yep." I thought, oh, he came back. He must have forgot something. So, well, don't forget your water bottle on the kitchen table. And I went and sat back down, watched TV again. And not about a minute or two later, I see Garrett drive up to the house. I'm like, wait a minute. He just said he was upstairs. He comes running into the house, and I'm like, what? He's like, I forgot my water bottle. He grabs his water bottle and he leaves. I'm like, well, who was I talking to upstairs then? Of course, there was nobody there. And that's the first time, the only time I ever heard somebody actually say something. It was always just the walking upstairs, or, we'd hear like something fall in one of the rooms or noise like that sort of thing. One other time, again, I was with Garrett and we were in the basement and we heard a noise and we went down there to check it all out and couldn't find anything. And there was a door to the cold room and it was shut pretty securely. And we looked all downstairs and couldn't find what, made this noise. So I started to slowly open up this wooden door to the cold room. And all of a sudden it pushed hard on me. And I slammed it shut. And it shut. And I took my hand away. And as I looked at my son Garrett, it popped back open right at us. It shuts with a latch. So I slammed it shut again. We ran back upstairs. And again, never heard anything, never saw anything. But the footsteps, that one time I heard a voice say, yeah, I'm here, or whatever it was. But always somebody walking around. So we've moved now, and I don't think that spirit has followed us to this new place. So whoever's living in that house now, it's no big deal. It's just the guy walking around upstairs. He ain't going to do anything. He doesn't even try to scare you.
Wow.
Yeah, it was weird, but it was weird how we got so used to it. It was like a weekly occurrence. Oh yeah, there he's walking around upstairs again.
Wow.
Yep.
So I think I'm gonna skip my last one and share two personal experiences. One from the past and one quite recently in the last 60 days.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
The Twilight Zone. So, my kids were young. I only had 2 at the time. I now have 3. We were in Calgary, Alberta. And we lived on top of a hill on Hunts Bay Road. And my son would always say he was playing with a little kid. I can't remember the kid's name, but he would play with this little kid. He'd be jumping on the bed with him. And I was walking to work down this hill, going to the bus stop, and I heard a little voice from behind say, "Where are you going?" And I didn't want to piss this thing off, whether it was a child ghost or an adult ghost. I was not pissing it off. So I answered. I said, "I'm going to work." And I looked behind me. There's no children. There's nobody around. It's really early in the morning. Nobody's even up out of their house yet. And I was a bit freaked out, to say the least.
Go away.
And that was the past experience.
Leave me alone.
Now this
I don't like you.
most recent experience happened at my restaurant, Cat's Pizza and Wing, 9281 Beechwood Road, Collingwood, Ontario. Shameless plug. It happened to me and my brother's girlfriend, Chelsea. True story. We are standing in the front, and we have speakers all on the ceilings, and they're not attached to anything. The stereo is unhooked. It's not plugged in. There's no way any music, any radio station could be coming out of these speakers. And we were talking to each other. She was standing at the counter, and I was standing by the door. And we both heard at the same time a voice Can't remember what it was. We couldn't make out what it was saying, but we know it was a male voice coming right out of the speaker. And we both simultaneously looked up at the speaker and said, "What the was that?" And it was freaky, as freaky can be.
Great.
That was my personal experience.
So if you want to catch a glimpse of or hear,
come on down to town.
Come on down to Taps Pizza and Wings. We're the home of the Yeti.
Home of the Yeti, indeed. So
nothing from a can, everything in a field. Something like that.
That is the that is the experiences and the stories we have. But I have one more ghost story, very scary one.
Go.
Just a quick one.
Go.
What if the Leafs won the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, you know what? That would be pretty freaky. I must admit.
Even a Leaf fan admit that would be freaky, man. That would mean the curse would be lifted, no?
What curse?
Well, I don't know. There's probably a curse on the Leafs. It's the Leafs.
It's too late. Drake done cursed the Leafs.
He did.
The only curse on the Leafs is there's Hab fans around here. It's the only curse.
There you go.
Well,
folks, so that is our Halloween episode.
Happy Halloween, kiddies.
Happy Halloween. And our 2 cents.
That you didn't ask for.
Or did the ghost ask for it?
I think the ghost said, "Pull my finger."
What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning? Way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises early in the morning.
Shave his belly with a rusty razor, shave his belly with a rusty razor, shave his belly with a rusty razor early in the morning.
Way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises early in the morning.
We'll put him in a longboat till he's sober, put him in a longboat till he's sober, put him in a longboat till he's sober early in the morning.
Way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises early in the morning.
Stick him in the scupper with a hose pipe on him. Stick him in the scupper with a hose pipe on him. Stick him in the scupper with a hose pipe on him early in the morning.
Way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises early in the morning.
Put him in the bed with the captain's daughter, put him in the bed with the captain's daughter, put him in the bed with the captain's daughter early in the morning.
Way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises early in the morning. That's what we do with the drunken sailor, that's what we do with the drunken sailor, that's what we do with the drunken sailor